hidden.
Hello and good evening. Star Trek Strange New World, Season 4, Episode 2, The Griffin Incident, aired today in 2026. But here in 2026 on Live Long and Podcast, we're just getting started. Whether you're joining us live on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook, or catching the audio version wherever you get your podcast, our mission to watch every episode of Strange New World, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, continues. This is your captain speaking. I am your host, Dave Mader. Tonight's episode shifts from cosmic adventure to atmospheric horror. Spock, La'an, and James T. Kirk board an abandoned Federation starship drifting like a ghost through space. And spoilers ahoy, of course. We will be talking all about this episode that came out today. So if you don't want to know the plot, this would be the time to duck out. But come back and hear what we have to say. And we have a great team here to break down this episode. Coming in with us, he's back. He's claimed the title of Mr. Strange New Worlds now. And tonight he gets a full horror showcase. As a videographer and editor, he has turned every shadow, every flicker of Griffin's corrupted logs, and every terrifying hallucination from a zombie like Harper to an infant David Margus. He brings sharp instincts and a great eye for detail. It is Jim the Casual Noland.
Hello. And yeah, Mr. Strange New Worlds I think might be appropriate because I did not like this episode.
It may be inappropriate. Inappropriate?
Yeah.
Well, maybe this man is Mr. Strange New World. He's our resident vegan and podcast aficionado, always ready to empathize with misunderstood species, even when they appear as hallucinations in the dark. He is tuned into the biology, the ethics, and the science behind Griffin's unexplained phenomena. It's Chris Worldmind Murphy.
What's new, Scooby-Doo? We're coming after you, and you're going to solve that mystery.
Yes, a ghost story here, a ghost ship, if you will. The USS Griffin. We are talking about the 32nd episode overall of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, titled The Griffin Incident. It came out today, July 30th, 2026, written by Robbie Thompson, directed by Axel Carolyn. And so we got La'an, Spock, and James T. Kirk coming back from a conference, even though they don't serve on the same ship. Somehow they're all on this shuttle coming back. Doesn't matter, who cares? And but it's the love triangle is out, right? Because we know there was all the googly eyes with La'an and Kirk a couple seasons ago, but he's like, oh no, I gotta break it off. Maybe me and Carol can make this work. That's dead. But La'an and Spock are a thing now, and that's interesting. But maybe, I don't know, is Chapel back in the mix here? I'm so confused with all the relationship drama on this show. That's not what this episode's about. It's about scary ghosts or something. Ghost ship. And some horror. I don't know. Jim, I feel like I got to start with you. I get the sense you didn't love this, but I'll let you articulate your own thoughts.
Okay. So I saw this first thing this morning before I took off for work, and hearing the premise last week, and hearing details leading up to it, I'm like, okay, this could be an interesting premise. They discover a long lost ship. Okay, that's kind of standard. And then I started watching it, and then I'm like, oh, I've seen this before. Oh, right, it's Event Horizon the entire time.
And you're saying you didn't enjoy that?
No, I loved Event Horizon. This is just like a cheap copycat. Now, I was just watching it, and I'm like, there's two ways for me. There's two ways of watching this episode. One, or rating this episode, I should say. One is isolating the episode itself, like in its own little bubble. Okay?
Yeah. In a vacuum, if you will.
In a vacuum, if you will, yes. When I look at the episode by itself, it's fine. It's passable. I didn't feel a whole hell of a lot of tension. I didn't feel like it was creepy stuff going on, but hell, Spock saw through it within like what the first major encounter. Like he knew it was all in his head. It was just something that was causing him to see these things. And then it just kept building and building, and I'm like, okay, this is fine. Okay, all right, creepy story, yada. All right. And then we get to the ending. And that's where the fuck yous come out. Because
this is where you're cursing, you know?
This was like the whole buildup is like these creepy things are happening. Lon's going insane, stabbing Kirk and all that. And it gets to the very end where the rest of the Enterprise crew shows up and they rescue him at the last second after a lot of tension and near death. And it comes to Mega and Pike talking about, what happened. Oh, we're sending it off to Section 12. And do we find out what happened? What caused all the hallucinations? No. It's just, there is no answer. Fuck you, Batman. Like, that's what it boils
to be continued, Jim, perhaps.
Well, bullshit. It's not going to be continued. So that was one of the big drawbacks for me, is that ending. The rest of it, like, okay, it is what it is. It's a scary story in space. Fine. The ending kicked me in the nuts. And then there's the second way you look at it, where you look at the entire universe, where it's one continuity error away from Kirk, Spock, and Ensign Ricky being over to the ship. Guess who's not coming back? Okay, we know what happens. This is a prequel. There is no tension for these characters. They're not in danger.
That was kind of my, that is my major complaint with the episode, because it's a prequel. Like once I see George Kirk or Sam Kirk there get sucked out, I was like, well, then it's not Sam. I know Sam doesn't die here. Yeah. So like obviously Spock and Kirk can't die. They have to go on to do stuff. Lon can die maybe, I guess, because we don't know what happens to her. She's the only one. But beyond that, like
the Sam Kirk glory hole scene on the bridge, that was interesting. But
glory hole.
It sucked out through a hole. I mean, what can I say? Like, I knew Lon was going to be continuing on in this season, or for the rest of this season, and I'm pretty sure for next season, right? But if the writers had actually, like, how else can I put it, but gave a shit, maybe they could have done it so that this is the triggering point for what causes Lon to leave, which may be what they're doing, but I kind of doubt it, because there wasn't really any indication that she was affected beyond, like, she was disturbed and then
she was like the most affected, it seemed like.
Yeah, but at the same
okay. All right. Okay, Jim. Okay, I've heard enough.
To say
I've heard enough. You are sucking the air out of the fucking balloon. You need to pull the stick at your ass right now, because I do not know what you were watching. I watched an excellent episode of Space X-Files. Okay, I was having a grand old time. I knew
I queued this up for a reason.
I saw. Yes, good, wonderful. I saw the comparisons of Event Horizon, and I enjoyed them. Okay, this episode was a lot of fun. I was intrigued by the mystery of the Griffin. Did we get a resolve on that? No, we didn't. I was not a fan of an open ending like that. Did it suck? Sure. But I didn't hold that against the rest of the episode, because my attention was well grasped. I was enthralled by the, like, what's going on here. There were times I questioned, like, I was like, oh, nobody's gonna die, obviously. But then, people started kind of dying, and I was like, well, like, the Sam died. I was like, wait, did Sam just die because of the fact that they followed him outside of space? And, like, Kirk shouldn't have seen that. So, like, it really fucked with my perspective of what was going on, and I think that was the intention of what was going on, because clearly there was a moment where everything they were seeing was not what they were seeing and what was actually happening in the ship for the majority of that episode. The confusion on both of your parts as to why La'an seemed the most affected. You clearly have not been paying attention to her past, as she is clearly worried about her genetic upbringings, essentially making her
heritage
an ultimate
Right.
baddie through all these things. And this is just maybe a slippery slope down a very long and violent hill, right? And this is what could trigger that. Hopefully not, but she's probably going to die before this show is over, much like Ortega will probably die before this show is over. And probably Mbega will probably die before the show is over.
Mbega is an original series, so he's got the plot armor.
Yeah.
And I guess the other one would be Una, but because we don't know what happens to her. But
well, here's what I contend is that this show is, again, before it's over and all is said and done, because we probably have another year and a half before this show's really over. It's going to bleed into a Star Trek revival series, a Star Trek Year One or whatever, and we're going to get Paul Wesley and all that stuff, and they're just going to reboot probably the better episodes of old Star Trek and then try and retell it from there, because eventually we're getting a movie. Eventually, we're going to get a movie of Star Trek that's beyond the time era of Starfleet Academy right now. So it's like the things that are going to come down the hill are could be even worse, or who knows.
And you're happy about that?
I mean,
he is.
I'm not thrilled about it, but like, you know what this episode did open up? The idea of a Division 12 episode series.
Oh God, don't even. No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you guys want Section 31 something?
No.
We don't want either.
Don't you just put a new label on it. That's all they're trying to set up here. Oh, there's the secret Division 12 or whatever they're
Yes, that's the intention, and I'm down for it.
Fine. Section 12 is Philippa Giorgio, David Duchovny, and Dana Scully, like solving space mysteries,
and Sam Neill from Event Horizon.
And
but all of space is mysteries.
Which goes back to my point. Like, okay, it's a mystery, but fucking Barclay in TNG got turned into a goddamn spider, and the worst doctor in Starfleet still gave an explanation as to why. Okay, you can't tell me that it wasn't like radioactive pollen, a psychic dog, a round of bad constipation among the crew that caused them to go psychotic. Like anything, I would have accepted space wizards casting a spell on these people, and I would have bought it better than nothing.
Oh yeah, well, okay, so there's kind of two topics here, which one is this episode, and what so Chris enjoyed it, you did not. I was more on the side of, I don't know, like there's some cool imagery here and there's some cool scenes, and like I like the way they shot it, but like there's no tension here. Like this doesn't have true horror tension because it's a prequel. Sorry, it is a prequel. And that's a limitation. Like if you made a prequel to Scream, then it would also, like if there's a character I know is in the future movie, then it would take some of that out of there.
Which is why I started with, like, there's two ways. Like in the bubble, isolated, yeah, it's fine, but it's everything else that kind of screwed it up for me as well.
Also, I didn't see any of this love triangle stuff that you mentioned, Dave. Like, I didn't like.
It's not. They don't really do anything with it, but it's for me. It's present from the fact that the three of them are on this mission together.
I mean, but like it's not. There's just nothing about it though. Like, sure, she's kissed, and maybe
well, let's see. There's conversations between Spock and La'an about their relationship, but more about her. And then there's discussions between La'an and Kirk about what's going on with him and Carol Marcus. And and everything else there, and then at the end, like then we got Chapel back in the mix. Making some eyes
look at that as I don't know. I don't see that.
Well, and
she was clearly concerned for her friend who had just cut his own ears off because of a psychosis that he endured.
Again, prequel, and we know that Spock and Chapel are going to have all this romantic tension in the original series.
And plus,
sure.
it seemed like Kirk for a hot second was about to ask La'an about like. I almost got the vibe of like he was going to ask how serious it was between her and Spock, like when they were walking down the hallway when they were heading to the bridge. And he ends it with the joke of like, "Do you believe in ghosts?" Like fucking the flashlight in his face and all that. Like it almost seemed like he was kind of leaning towards that after they were talking about Carol.
Let me ask you this
he's
too.
obviously aware that they're in a relationship, and that would be the natural form of a conversation until a ghost interrupts you, and then you're gonna crack a joke to break the tension.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: like, are you fully in on Paul Wesley as Kirk? Because I still struggle with him as Kirk.
I like him as Kirk.
I think it's a baseline, but there's something missing.
There's something about Shatner's original performance,
and that is a problem. Shatner is just a different kind of actor,
but it's almost like this mischievousness that Shatner injected into his version that I don't see in this version. This version is very serious. This version is very.
He's what, too happy-go-lucky kind of.
No, it's actually the opposite in some ways, right? Like,
no, I meant Wesley, the new guy.
Yeah, like, and you can hand wave this away, but like, that this is a different time in his life, and this is when he's dealing with whether or not he's gonna settle down and be a family man or not. I guess, sure, but like, it's just the energy of the character is not quite right for me, in some way, and I don't know, like, I just don't know if he's won over the general audience. I think he's adequate. Like, don't get me wrong, it could be a lot worse, but I think that's a thing. And like, and to Chris's point, like this idea, I don't think that this idea that they're going to make a Paul Wesley show is ever going to happen. No. I think
hell, they've already destroyed the sets. They've already sold off the sets for the Enterprise. So
I guess they could build a new one, but why would they?
Yeah.
My that's my personal opinion. We'll see what happens, but there we go. I know I think we're torn here tonight. I think this is a polarizing episode, more so than last week, which seemed to be quite a unifier. Everyone seemed to like last week's episode. This episode, it's okay. Like, maybe we should break it down. I've got one question here from our friend Norman I wanted to hit up first, because he asked, did the entity cut Spock's ear or via hallucination, or did he actually cut himself? He did it to himself. Like, he was but Lon really stabbed Spock. Or Kirk.
Kirk, yeah.
Kirk, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to break down the plot with our screenshots. Everything I took, I barely had time to get these together for. So thanks, Chris, for pulling that episode, as Jody had technical difficulties today. Let's do it. All right. So the episode starts off with the dark of space, and I think this is like tying into the final conversation or speech that Pike will give us here at the end, that space is vast and infinite in its beauty, but also its terror. And I think that's partly what this establishing shot is meant to convey as the shuttlecraft is going through. We get a log. I can't remember whose log it was, but basically described as that it's coming back from a conference.
Yeah, and Kirk basically said he was hitching a ride with them, like to the conference or from the conference. Like
one of the two.
From the conference.
From the conference.
We have to find a reason to get Paul Wesley here. So this is how we're doing it. So they're going through this asteroid belt when they detect an unidentified signal.
And he's giving this narration about it's like this is why I come to space, for the lost signals and the like out there mysteries, but there's something about this one that I can't help, doesn't feel quite right, just to start the tension,
Yeah. There's some more tension here with Spock and La'an. She's a little distant. Spock's like, "Are you going okay? You seem a little out of it." She's like, "Leave me alone. I'm dealing with my personal issues. This is my arc this season, but thanks for asking." Okay, no problem. I want to be a good Vulcan boyfriend. Then they find the wreck of the USS Griffin. NCC 1067, which we are told has been missing for 9 years, taking us back to I think we're establishing that this episode takes place in 2262, so this would put it at 2253 since the ship has been missing just before like the Klingon War and all that kind of really.
Question for you two: are you cool with it being another Constitution class, or would you have rather be like a different class ship?
It
looks like it could be a Sombrero class.
Well, they do establish it's a Constitution class. I'm okay with it canonically, Jim, and I'll tell you why. We know that the USS Constellation had a registry number that was even lower than this one. I'm trying to remember. I think it's like 10 something. I can't remember exactly, but it's in the tens, right? So we know that like the Enterprise and like the Constellation and Garth of Izar's ship, like a few of these Constitution classes have been in service for like 20 plus years. So at this point, so it's canonically fine. I think at the end of the day, this is a bottle episode,
sure,
and they're using existing sets to save money, probably so they can spend more on another episode. Or in the first episode. So like that's the point of this. So if you keep it the same class, makes it a little simpler,
right? You make cost effective. I get that. I don't know. I think like fourth season rolls around. I think I want to see a little bit more, just not like oodles of them, but just a little bit more variety in the ship styles. Just because we're starting to get to that point where Starfleet is starting to branch out even wider. And they're going. I just want to see something a little bit different.
You won't.
But that's just a personal preference.
We saw it like in that first season. It was like, remember, it was like that cold ship that they ran into the Gorn on, and it was like it wasn't Constitution class, but it was like, what if the Constitution class was like 25% smaller?
Yeah,
and then
I can't remember.
The only other variety we saw was the Farragut, which we finally got to see.
On the Farragut, which was an interesting design, very unique, I will say, but. Yeah, I think it probably would have just helped a little bit for me personally. This is
me too. Me. I would have liked some variety here, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's another.
Do you guys remember Starfleet Academy in the finale where they had the big bads play essentially in the archarium of the school? That's what we get now.
I do remember, yes, but. It doesn't mean I won't comment on it. So anyway, so they found the ship. Where's it been? They all thought it had been destroyed or scattered. It was a great mystery for these 9 years, so they need to go investigate it. And they're sending off a signal. All they have is a couple flashlights. The shuttle's not very well stocked. This is an Enterprise shuttle, right? Like,
I think so.
Okay. Anyway, so she's giving Kirk heck, but he was a Boy Scout, even though
she wasn't giving Kirk heck. She was lamenting that she's going to give whatever ensign packed this ship a stern talking to back to Enterprise because they failed to put in more than 2 lights. There should be 4 lights.
True. Anyway.
Kirk's
got a bag full of stuff because he's a Boy Scout, as I was trying to say, even though his mother or Carol Marcus said to David Marcus and Wrath of God, Jim Kirk was never a Boy Scout. Well, not true. He was.
Wait, can we go back one quick shot? I'm going to pull a Jody. Did anybody catch this book?
No.
It's basically the book for Master and Commander. I guess the book was inspired a bit by like how Kirk does captaining, so the captain Master Commander has similarities to like Kirk. Anyway, it's like
so he's learning. Oh, he hasn't read it yet.
Yeah, he's reading the book and he's getting his knowledge and what it takes to be a captain.
Oh yeah. Anyway, he has a little toy here he's bought for his son David, my namesake, David Marcus. Because his kid is now about 2, I guess. And this will come into play, but something he plans to give as a gift to his young child. And anyway, then they beam over to the Griffin. And now, here's one thing I really did appreciate. The fact that they're wearing these masks.
Yeah.
That fact that they say, hey, there should be no gravity on the ship. The fact that they have gravity boots built into their uniform. A++, chef's kiss. Do more of this. Like, but because I get it. They don't want masks on their actors. But they should have been wearing these last week when they were on Dinosaur Planet. Quite frankly, because the CO2 levels would be not lethal, but high.
You're not going to let that one go, are you?
No, because I want them to get back to being scientific space explorers, and I get that they'll write a reason out of these things because they don't want their actors to have to ADR everything because they're behind these masks. But sometimes the situation calls for it.
And credit where credit's due, those masks do have a really good visual design to them, and you can still see the actors behind them. They're not in the way. I gotta give you.
I'm sure in reality they fog up instantly, but
I would think so. Yeah, but still, it works. It works.
Yeah, so I was happy with that. Then they find the source of the distress signal, which shouldn't be any power because the ship shouldn't have any gravity. It shouldn't have any power. But
that cannot be part of the original ship, right? That has to be something that was planted there to draw people in.
Well, maybe by Harper. It's unclear what exactly happened over these last 9 years is not fully explained, but we're led to believe that there have been other visitors to the ship at some point too.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, Klingons and Vulcans named.
Could have been the Romulans just being like, let's set a trap here for any human Starfleet. They're going to die.
That would be very Romulan of them. They managed to get emergency power on, and they're able to check a couple things, what's going on. But they figure they only have a couple hours where they're going to have to, finally leave.
They have 1 hour.
1 hour. But this doesn't happen over an hour, does it?
Yeah.
Give or take.
The whole episode from start to finish is 59 minutes.
But you think in the episode, it's an hour of time, only an hour of time goes by for these 3 people?
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
Yeah, an hour of time goes by.
That's it?
Supposedly, it is supposed to be 1 hour.
Okay.
And I think they only mentioned the countdown twice.
Have you guys ever had hallucinations before?
I don't think so.
Not recently.
It's a slippery slope.
It's
a very slippery slope.
So they're going through the ship here with their flashlights, and it was kind of a cool sequence with the Flash would go here, and then they'd be in this section of the ship, then they'd be in that section of the ship, and the conversations they're having about where's the crew and where is everything. Now, what my impression by the end of this episode was that, because they said the crew's all gone, the ship's empty. But when Spock eventually wakes up in sickbay after he does that meditation thing, we see a bunch of bodies in that sickbay that we didn't see before.
Yeah, so they're tripping out right now. They don't see what the ship actually looks like.
There's blood everywhere. There's bodies everywhere, but they don't see these, right? They just see an empty ship for the most part. Right. And so they're just kind of going along. And then we see, who's that creepy person walking down the corridor at the end of the flashlight? We see they start to investigate that, Lon in particular. And as we approach, we see, it's a red shirt who's, been rolling in the mud or something. And we meet Rose Harper for the first part of the episode, this ghost of a Starfleet officer or security the entity itself or whatever is behind all of this, presumably takes on this face.
She was the security officer of the Griffin.
Yes, Lon's counterpart.
Yeah,
and meant to be this, sort of, I don't know, parallel for her. So they try to chase the ghost of Harper down the hall, but hey, she's gone all of a sudden. And they scan, but that's our teaser. Where's the ghost gone? That's our teaser. And then after credits, Spock scanning, he goes, I don't know. Looks like
There's negative ions. He's like,
Yeah,
"There's no
negative
ions.
Yeah.
I-
He's ghost. He's like, no, negative ions. It's
Yeah,
like,
Negative
but why would Kirk immediately say, "You mean ghosts?" Like, has that been established ever before that negative ions equals spirits?
maybe in Ghostbusters, but I don't
Maybe in
think in
Ghostbusters.
Star Trek.
I'm sorry. Do we not remember when Beverly Crusher romanced a candle?
But I don't remember ions being involved. Per
I
se.
remember green fart smoke.
there was
but
green
that's
fart
a-
smoke for sure.
Yeah,
That's how you. That's how you.
That's
resist
how you know.
candles.
Now you see, if there was green fart smoke in this scene, I wouldn't question anything. See, I probably would have enjoyed this.
Exactly. Okay. Well, we have to transition here because
Okay.
then Kirk's Spock and Lon, they find this room that's been barricaded, like with all these posts, and it seems like some people had sealed themselves inside, but maybe other people had sealed themselves or barricaded themselves out or whatever.
One was trying to seal off the doors, and then another group was trying to open it up.
I
Yeah,
think
so
it was
all-
more like one would try to open it up, and the other one was just like, "Oh no, close it."
Yeah,
And
and we find
I would buy that. Yeah.
some of the phaser fire around the door. Some of it's Federation, but some of it is also Klingon, and some of it's specifically Vulcans. Hence, like there have been seemingly other people here since the ship was lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, they mentioned Romulan too.
maybe Romulans.
Did they?
Yeah.
Then Kirk starts hearing child noises. I guess meant to be the voice of his son down the corridor. He's getting more and more warped into like the madness, the space madness of it all. And all of a sudden, he's kind of pulled out of it by La'an, says, "Are you okay?" Well, he's fine. He's Kirk, but he's still hearing things. And then we go into
Still
sick
hearing
bay
a baby
here.
cry.
Still hearing that creepy baby in sick bay of the Griffin. They just find an empty sick bay, but not really. But that's what they see. They find a bunch of body bags that have no bodies in them. That's weird.
Perfectly normal, no trouble at all.
No
Hardly an
trouble at all.
inconvenience.
Yeah.
They decide to split up at this point. So Spock stays here in sick bay, where La'an and Kirk decide to go up to the bridge and see what they can figure out there.
right here. After I watched the episode, I was looking through YouTube and trying to see what other people's opinions were. And in every comment section, there was always the D&D joke: "Don't split the party." Every time, you don't split the party.
It's true.
There were some rookie mistakes here when dealing with the entity situation.
They already know they're on a ghost ship at this point. If they don't know they're on a ghost ship yet, they better have figured it out by now.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Spock is now down here in the sick bay, and he's maybe hearing some things with those Vulcan ears. But what's
the body bag slips off the edge of the
Right.
bed all of a sudden.
And it's a Vulcan. It's a body bag meant for a Vulcan officer, a lieutenant
The on.
Ta'arn or something.
Ta'arn.
Yeah. Anyway, so back to Kirk and La'an, who are talking about their relationship stuff, mostly about Kirk's relationship. He's like, "Oh, I love my son, but me and Carol, that's over, and that's not working out, and I don't know how to balance family and Starfleet, and
Okay.
yeah."
This right here, that creature, quote unquote, that they got walking in the background, the way that creature
It
was
was
moving,
done well.
it was done well.
It was done really well.
I despite me not liking this, the technical aspects of this episode were great.
I don't know how you didn't like this, Jim. I don't know how you just didn't enjoy this episode for what it was. Like, it was really done. It was a really well done ghost story. It just didn't give us a fucking resolve. A lot of ghost stories tend not to.
Again, that's
I've
why
seen better. I've seen better ghost stories than Supernatural. Than this.
I've seen better ghost stories on Are You Afraid of the Dark and Goosebumps, but you know what? Some of them didn't have resolutions. Like they didn't. They didn't
the ones
tell
that
you
didn't have
why.
resolutions. They were like, I don't know. We'll see. This is Are You Afraid of the Dark? Which Jim doesn't know what we're talking about because he's American.
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
That was
You're
a
part of the
Canadian
Midnight
creation.
Society.
Yeah, I've watched quite a few episodes of that.
Well, it was made in like
And-
Ottawa and
And
Quebec.
how many of those ever explained why they were being ghosts or something?
Did you ever wonder why so many ghosts were French Canadian? Did that ever come?
I
wonder
was
that one?
7. I was not aware there was such a thing as French Canadian.
Okay, just
Did you
Yes.
know that one of the kids on Are You Afraid of the Dark ended up being the director for Heated Rivalry?
Oh yeah. Well, one of the kids on Are You Afraid of the Dark? He's like the weatherman on CTV now.
Yep.
Like the leader
Really?
of the Midnight Society. I forget his name right now, but he's like the weatherman on there. Anyway, we gotta get back to this story, this scary story. We got Spock in sick bay. He's trying to like pull up the computer to try to figure out, like what happened here. He pulls up the Rose Harper service record. He asks, I think, how everyone died. We'll come back to that. Then we go Lon and Kirk on the bridge, and they're trying to get the bridge working here. Kirk's hearing the voice more. Lon is pulling up the logs of Rose Harper. So this is kind of like the whole discovery section of the episode where they're kind of piecing together some of the details of what happened on the Griffin. We find out a lot of the crew died.
This was awesome.
All the crew.
This was kind of horrifying. It was
like,
subversive and just all in your brain, and I loved it. I was like, oh,
how was the crew killed?
That's twisted.
Many were stabbed by an unknown sharp instrument. Many were strangled. A whole bunch were just beamed into space while they were still alive.
Like
horrifying.
280.
Horrifying.
Some of them were just beamed into space.
Yeah, Spock was like, tries to call on the communicator. He tries to reunite the party, as Jim was speaking of, but it doesn't work. He's like, we need to get off the ship right now. But then he gets trapped inside sick bay. The doors close, or do they? Did they really? Did he just believe they closed? His communicator can't call anybody, and now he turns around, and the sick bay, where that was empty before, now has a whole bunch of corpses in body bags on the bio beds. Around him, and that's weird. That wasn't what we had a second ago. Anyway, and some of the body bags are filling with blood. Yeah. Even the Vulcan ones, red blood. Back to La'an, who's looking at these logs of Harper, learning that she was like the first one of this crew of the Griffin that was at least experiencing these symptoms. She might be patient zero here. Perhaps she brought some kind of malevolent entity inside of her to the ship, and then that's ultimately what happened here. It's not entirely clear. I feel like we're going to get a second episode about this at some point, or some kind of a resolution based on the ending here, but that's what we're told. Meanwhile, back to Spock.
He says that he didn't detect any transporter residue.
Right. So, but I don't know. You can't really trust any of his scans or anything he's seen, right? So, because as he's scanning here through the sick bay, we see one of the body bags sits up, and cool shot from a horror perspective, but and then pulls themselves out of the bag, which Spock then notices. Who is it? It's his old girlfriend, T'Pring. His
Pringle's back.
She's here. They found a way to get her into an episode this season, so that's good on them. They're clearly broken up. This is before amok time. More Lon and Rose. I can probably skip through some of this. Kirk going more crazy.
Just okay. So all the Rose Harper stuff is like that's how La'an's tripping out, is because Rose Harper specifically keeps talking to Lon and being like, you're gonna go crazy. You shouldn't trust anybody.
You should be more like me. Yeah, she actually starts speaking to her, and the pair. Obviously, they kind of have some physical similarities. They're obviously both the chief of securities of their respective ships, and even their background and some of their tendencies. Because we find out that Harper was like this overachiever and sort of like really wound up, similar to Lon as well, right? So
high professional.
Professional. And one of the things that was going on is that they discovered that the shuttlecraft that they arrived in was destroyed, supposedly destroyed.
Yeah. Can I this uniform that she's wearing probably wasn't the uniform that they were wearing in 2253. It was probably the uniform Discovery had on in the first
yes, and I there are some discrepancies like that.
Are we
should
talking
have
about
been
the ones
wearing.
with the weird like neck collar thing?
Yeah,
they had
like
going
the
on?
gold, the blue ones with the gold and
Oh,
silver.
okay.
And,
Yeah. That should have been a Discovery era uniform, but they obviously didn't because they keep selling everything they make, and they got to stop doing that a little bit because they could have had a suit they could have just put on this lady and
I'm
had
sure
that
they have one still in
continuity.
storage, but they
Oh,
don't do that here. So little
hang on.
attention to detail.
I thought the Discovery uniforms and the I'll call it the TOS uniforms. I thought they were kind of happening at the same time, and that the Discovery uniforms were like a different section, like more science related.
It's not entirely clear to me canonically when the colored uniform, like
Right.
what you call the TOS uniform, gets introduced. We know when we meet Pike and Spock and number
Right.
one in season 2 of Discovery, they're
Yeah.
wearing it by then, but
Right.
only on their ship. Like their ship, it's kind of like the new thing, and it looks different than this.
I think those Discovery uniforms are meant to be like a more of a nod to like the NX-01 era type uniforms.
Well,
of a
they
lot
are,
of
but
them.
in those first 2 seasons of Discovery, we see almost everyone in Starfleet wearing it. And until they finally do the time jump. So anyway, it's a minor complaint, but when I watch old TNG episodes and they'll put like some of these flashback characters in like the season 1 TNG uniform, with like the like I appreciate that kind of stuff, So
or in the red uniforms from the motion picture stuff.
yeah, like all those, even in First Contact when they show Picard on the Borg ship, right? He's not wearing the First Contact uniform. He's wearing like the TNG uniform.
Don't they show a photo at one point in this where they're wearing some older uniforms? I forget which one, but we might see in the screenshots.
Maybe.
Anyway,
I can't remember.
Doesn't matter. Anyway, then back to the story. So La'an and Kirk, they realize we better get off this ship, but our shuttle is been destroyed or blown up or is somehow sabotaged.
It's just demolished.
But was it?
Okay. That's the question. Was it? I thought heavily no, I'm fairly certain you guys are being fed a lie. Like this is some type of projection because I feel like if the ship exploded, you would have noticed an explosion on the ship that you're on because it's not too far. 2, there's no way the ship you're on destroyed it because you would have noticed the ship you're on firing on it. And the only other logical reason that ship would have actually been destroyed is because La'an used the computer to send in a self-destruct to the shuttle while she was on that, and she just didn't know it.
If the shuttle really was destroyed, I agree. It has to be one of these 3 characters that did that somehow, without knowing it, because it doesn't feel like this entity has the ability to do anything by itself. It has to get people. It has to sort of compel people to do things, right?
Yeah. So I'm more in the books that they just all had this like vision that it was destroyed, much like Kirk has the vision later of Sam being sucked out. I think it's just like a projection in their minds.
Like they think that their communicator doesn't work, but it actually does. They just can't hear.
Which would make so much sense because before they left, they sent a distress to Enterprise being like, "Hey, we're over here." So it would make sense why Enterprise is like, "It's been an hour. Let's go over there." And the shuttle's there, and they're able to get everybody so quickly,
But in terms of the story, they think they're trapped now.
Even Norman was wondering if the shuttle was an illusion.
Because remember, when they find the ship, it has no shuttles and it has no escape pods.
No shuttles, no escape pods.
So they say.
Right. At the very end of the episode, they didn't say anything about recovering the shuttle?
It's not mentioned at all.
There was no resolution to this particular shuttle, right?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, because they probably were just it's there. Yeah, it's like, oh, the shuttle's fine. We didn't need to mention it, All
right. Well, back to the next scene, which is fake T'Pring and Spock. She's, at this point, she's very much like, I'm T'Pring. Like, what are you talking about? And Spock's like, you're not T'Pring. You're in a hallucination. She's like, then how can I know you have a big Vulcan dick? And he's like,
okay, Mr. Facetious. She's like, why am I dreaming that I'm on the Enterprise? Why is Spock in my dream? Like, she's selling this really well to a degree. I'm like, okay, this is a lie, but like, could it be? Did this thing magically transport her here?
Somehow brought her from Vulcan here.
Like just somehow brought her from Vulcan to here. Like,
Yeah.
is it like, are we dealing with an Armis situation?
Somehow
or something
Emperor
like that?
Palpatine returned. Right. It's the same. It's the same thing. It's something is projecting from Spock's memories, and it's using Vulcan logic to convince him, but the Vulcan logic is pushing back.
Right, but as
Which
an
is why
audience,
he's
when you're
able to see
watching,
through
as an audience when you're watching, this like, no, this is absolutely a figment of the imagination, but they're doing it really well that I'm even questioning if this is actually a figment of the imagination, which is the entire purpose of this creature, is to make people question what the fuck they're doing, you know? So,
Sure.
yes, it was logical that Spock would be the one to break through all of this nonsense. It just took him a little longer than I would have preferred he done it. And there's things that La'an does in this that she most certainly should not have been doing because it was against her character, and we'll get to those. But like,
Yeah,
it's
a convincing fake to bring.
Really good.
Then back to Kirk's hearing the David Marcus, presumably, but because he's being wooed here by the sign calls. I think and La'an goes off on her to try to find Spock, I think, at this point.
Yeah, she calls Spock to like meet me in engineering. We've got like an hour to
yeah. She's like, call okay, Spock, we're meeting in engineering. He does maybe she hears him, maybe she not. But anyway, so Kirk's now left.
She just didn't check. Yeah.
She just didn't check. Kirk's now by himself. So all three of them are now on their own. So Spock is
this is when the craziness ensues.
Yeah, because he's talking to fake to bring, and she's like, you think I'm the hallucination, but maybe you're the hallucination. And she's like, and even like, would it be logical for you to accept my fake help if I offer it? What's the problem? He's like, I guess we can do that. And then they start we got La'an down in engineering trying to reroute power to the bridge, and she's doing there, but then we see her watching more of these Harper logs, and we start to see someone walking up behind her.
Yeah,
and this is it. This is La'an. This is La'an wouldn't do this. La'an is like the type of security officer to check every corner in the room. This is not La'an. She wouldn't just be like, oh, it's Spock. I'm not going to turn my back and see that there's an imminent threat coming towards me. I'm just going to trust that this ship where we're having psychosis issues is actually Spock, even though I haven't heard from him. Like, that's not what La'an would do.
She actually says to Kirk at one point before this, like, watch your six.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Like this is a really egregious incontinuity in this story and in La'an's character, just so they could sell this jump scare.
Anyways, but like she's not being true to who she normally is, but she's kind of entranced by this Harper thing,
yes, and I will be like, okay, maybe it's just the psychosis breaking her down and she's really like dropping her guard. But if like La'an was on point, she would have turned around and looked, and I believe she should have done that. But for the sake of the story, sure, we continue. She's watching the thing, and then it's like, getting the story, it's all my fault, and she gets across. She's like, thanks. Like this old hat of a trick, and I'm just like, okay, this is probably the worst part of the episode.
I was laughing. I was like, this is hilarious. But the hand's still there. Like, does Spock normally just leave his hand there?
No, anyway. It's the thing he came by to say hi.
And then she's watching this Harper thing, and then the screen turns off, and then we see that it's this is the jump scare you speak of, where they're just
dead
Harper, and what's going on? Pointing the phaser at her, but she's like, I've been waiting for you. And
on the opposite side of the coin, as terrible as the setup was for this scene, what a payoff of a scene, though. She's like, you're not a human, you're not a monster. You're one of us. And then like the lights turn on.
Right. And then again, there's a couple things here with Kirk, and he's ripping apart he's hearing more David Marcus, and he finds the little toy, and then the toy that he brought for the kids is wound up and walking on the floor, and then he looks back, and the baby's arm comes creeping out of the thing. I was like, wow, you're going for it. David Marcus's hand coming through the things, and he starts tearing apart the communication station and trying to find the baby. Back to Spock and Fake to Pring, where he's like, she's like, remember that time you took us on that date to that planet? I said it was too human or something, or I don't like surprises. Well, it was wrong. I really do like your surprises. And so he's starting to like almost like her, or warm up to her here because like
It wasn't quite along those lines. It was more like she was like, we broke up and it was my fault. And the reason why it was my fault is because I wasn't loving you for the person that you are, so on and so forth. But we could like make this work out. And she does this all to diffuse him so she can get closer to him.
Right. And steal
I'm
his
just like,
phaser.
Yeah, steal his phaser and then shoot him. And I'm
He
like,
actually would have shot himself, right? In reality here.
I mean, I don't even
Or
potentially
didn't do that. Like he had to somehow get himself on that bed, right? So
I don't even know if he actually like got shot. It could be that it was just like a mental
in his mind he was shot,
in his mind that he was shot, but he just like walked over the bed and like, well, I guess I'm over here now, and then magic scissors.
Well, it's like not magic. It's not really magic scissors.
You know what I
like
mean when
like the scissors were there the whole time, right? He's just like in this state of psychosis. So mentally, he had this like, oh, I got shot. In like reality, he's like sleepwalking like a friggin' zombie. And because I'm going to assume some form of alien parasite is on this thing or something, or like some sort of dimensional alien entity is on the ship that is controlling them and making them like interact with themselves in the most physical way possible.
Right. And here's the part with Lon where she's getting the confrontation here with Harper, and then all of a sudden the lights go dark and
we start getting aliens. There was one point, I think it was like just roughly around there, right before the big shot reveal, but there was one behind him, and I was like, I bet you that's an alien that's puppet mastering all of this. And I was waiting for that reveal, but we never got it. I was like, this got to be the guy that's doing everything. There's a couple times we've seen like what is like an unknown entity behind them. It's not the Harper ghost. It
doesn't look like Harper. It looks like something kind of weird.
It looked almost like Hemner in that shot there for a second.
Yeah,
there
looks like an Anar or an Andorian. I'm not quite sure, but anyway, in the whole reveal shot, and there's many zombies, not just the Harper zombie. Now there's like all these zombies.
They're really ghosts. They're not zombies. Ghosts. They're ghosts,
including one Klingon.
Yeah, well, wow. that would imply that the other ships that came by, those people also died on this ship.
Yeah,
I never would have imagined a zombie Klingon. I never would have pictured them without the nose, and it's like
it's a horrifying image.
It's creepy. What were the? Oh, I'm thinking of Outer Limits. Never mind. The pig aliens or pig people from that one episode.
The pig people, watch out.
Sure. The protagonist of that episode was like a normal looking woman, and it turns out she was the disfigured one, and everyone else don't know
what you're talking about.
You don't know that episode? It's like one of the most famous.
Don't watch the other. Yeah,
or Twilight Zone.
One day, maybe we'll watch the Outer Limits.
Okay. Anyway, Twilight Zone. Anyway. Not
either way.
Into Pring, Spock's tied down, or is he? And he's getting.
Wait. We just skipped over like the best shot in the whole series. We just really like this whole scene. This whole scene was really good. Do you guys not enjoy just the way this played out?
Really good. It was fine. It was a bunch of ghosts.
It's okay.
Yeah,
I thought it was a really cool reveal to show like all of these. I thought it was well done.
It didn't blow me away or anything. I'll say that. And then I was more impressed with this T'Pring Spock stuff. Honestly, like I thought this was actually
Norman knows what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Twilight Zone. I have the ball there.
Thank you, Norman.
He always does. Norman always knows. He's a wealth of knowledge. Anyway,
Norman, can you tell me what happened in this episode? Because I have no idea. Never mind.
Anyway, so she's like, I'm going to make you more human by cutting off the tips of your ears. I thought this was a great horror moment, and like, like just the sheer.
Yeah, she's say like your weakness wasn't your humanness; it's your Vulcan side that makes you weak, and starts like cutting the ears. I was like, this is pretty twisted. And I was like, surely this isn't real.
There we go. I was on the same page. I'm like, this can't actually be happening. This has got to be like just a nightmare. And then later on, no, he got his own fucking tips off. I'm like,
on both ears.
On both ears.
Yeah.
Which is commitment.
We come back to Kirk, who's still trying to rip apart the bridge, and then the transporter beams have come through.
Panel up.
Yeah, and we see an away team materializes. It's like Pike, Una, Uhura, Ortega's, and Kirk's brother Sam. And they're here to save you. You're okay now. And
I'm admit at this point, I'm like, it's not them. Okay,
I didn't.
maybe
I
it
wasn't
is
sure.
them.
I was like, it could be them. It might not be them.
I
And
was
this was
never-
the beauty of the episode
I
because
was
they were
never
messing
convinced
with
that
us.
it was them. Never convinced.
There were moments. There was
That-
moments. All of
that-
this, I'm like, oh shit, they showed up because the way her is like, we can't fix this, and Pike's like, listen, give me options, people. How are we getting off this boat? Like, if we can't call the Enterprise, what are we gonna do to get out of here? There was these moments like, oh, maybe it is actually them.
Yeah. No, I was kind of half convinced, more so than like by T'Pring or anything like that it could be them. And even
because we see them transport in as opposed to
we see them
T'Pring,
transport in,
off
and
the
then
body
it's
bag.
like I think Pike and Una and Ortega's and Uhura leave, and then it's really just Sam and Jim, and they're talking, and a lot of their dialogue feels pretty, like it would
natural,
be natural
between two
right?
brothers. Yeah, even Pike before he leaves is like, you guys take some time to clear your head, and then when you're good, I'll meet you down at the transporter room. Like that's something Pike would do, right?
The Sam Kirk exchange is almost the exact same thing that Spock was going through with T'Pring, because Jim is worried about being a family man and being there for his kid, and he knows that Sam is trying to make it work with his own family, and so the entity, I will say, is using that against him, just like T'Pring was being used against Spock. So it's a nice little parallel between the two.
Anyway, then La'an storyline, she's going from deck to deck, but every time she ends up on deck 17, no matter how many times she tries to go back
I
to
like
the bridge.
this scene too. She's like, computer bridge deck 17. Let's try this again. Computer bridge deck 17. Does it like 3 or 4 times, and the computer's like, deck 17, La'an.
Yeah. Just get on with it. So she's like, fine, let's see what's down this creepy hallway. And makes her way, and then what does she find? The quarters of Harper, right?
Yeah.
Which are basically her quarters, with the blood stains on the wall from when Harper punched things. This knife that Harper owned that will be important in a bit. And then even some of her logs playing.
I think this is what you're talking about with the older uniforms.
The older uniforms.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I guess this is Captain Taggart. Anyway,
I was thinking it was the knife. Like, not at this moment, but when she brought the knife was more in play, I was like, oh, maybe that's like a haunted knife, like we had with like the masks in TNG. And
maybe it could. There are haunted objects sometimes.
Okay, hold on. You are not comparing this to masks from TNG, because that episode was worse than this.
I didn't like. I'm not
you don't
comparing
like
it.
I didn't like masks. No.
Listen, I'm not comparing it to masks. I'm saying that possessed items are a thing within the Star Trek universe. It would make a lot of sense.
They're definitely a thing in the supernatural universe.
Yeah.
I guess like Beverly's candle having a space ghost in it kind of would be
items that are possessed are a thing in the Star Trek universe. It is not without reason that maybe they found some type of archaeological knife. The security officer being this is cool.
There's a Vesda living in it or something, maybe.
And it turns her absolutely insane and murders her entire ship.
Hello, Trek reviewer. Hey, that's what we're doing.
Hey, Trek reviewer, we know him. Anyway, then like the log here of Harper then changes into Lon, like right in the shot, and like she's like, you join us, and she's like, I'll never join you, and she touches it, and then she's freaking out. But then who's here to save her? It's fake Uhura and fake Ortega's.
But again, I still don't believe they're fake at this point.
I know I'm pretty convinced that they're real at this point. And they're like, because they're hugging, and I guess but in each case, like whether it was T'Pring or it was Sam or it was them, like they're all meant to disarm the three of them, right? Like the respect to like La'an and Kirk and Spock in different ways, but like in a familiar, like someone they know from their past, from their life. And for La'an, it's Uhura and Ortegas, but because her family
Ortega
is
being
Starfleet.
like, you hugging, it's got to be really bad if you're hugging, you know, like that's a good line. It's like, oh, okay, this definitely sells me. Maybe they're not who they are.
Right. For any yours, definitely not. And then back to Spock bleeding all over the table with his ears cut off. And now, his heart's in the wrong place. Yeah. A callback to the fact that the Vulcan heart is down kind of where the human liver is.
This is good continuity. We like this. He starts freaking out. That was
good continuity. Good, I liked that. But he's got to cut. We just have to make your heart more human. Let's do that. And then Spock is saved by Una and Pike, who are here to save him and stop this all from happening. She's like, yeah, it's like fake T'Pring, might your ex. And I think Una's like, I never liked her. She was always crap.
Yeah, it's like, that's something she would get along with. But yeah, no, it was good. And then these two have the conversation where he's like, how do you deal with balancing Star Trek and being a father? And he's like, oh, I remember, or it's like, oh, these remember the tchotchkes that Dad would bring us, because he was never home. I had more of these than I have memories with Dad. And then it's like, well, how do you balance it? And he's like, I don't.
They're basically just like their father, like career Starfleet man. And Sam's a science officer. It's not like he's not even the chief science officer. I think he has just a little bit more room. He has a little bit more room for work-life balance than like a command officer.
He's just a bug nerd.
And Dad's busy being Thor on another couple of worlds. Yeah, it's real abandonment issues going on.
And even I thought this was the other part that still had me convinced it was the real boarding party. It was the real Enterprise crew, like Sam Kirk here, because he starts hearing the visions of his son calling to him. I'm like, well, why would the entity need to fool us this way? But they do. They try to get out of the bridge, but they're locked in.
I think because they do this is to help. Because Kirk's like, no, I'm not going. Like, this isn't real. All of this is not real. And then he starts seeing hallucinations of Starfleet and his brother, and he's like, okay, well, they're doing their thing. This isn't not real. And then Sam, who he's watching, be like, is that my child? He's like, no, not you too, Sam. He's like, this is gonna draw him back into it. This whole thing is a hallucination to mess with his mental guard. Right. Indeed. So, and technically mess with our own, because we're hearing what Sam hears. So it's like, oh man, not Sam too,
not Sam. And then they would go back to La'an, and she's with fake Ortegas and fake Uhura, and they try to use the transporter to go where? Back to the Enterprise, I guess, is what the idea.
They're trying to go.
And they can only go one at a time because of the power consumption.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So they try to beam Ortegas here, but then it starts to go a little bad, and she's kind of
a
little scrambled. And they're like, what's happening here? But then Uhura jumps in and goes, La'an, you're using the controls to like try to beam her into herself or something. Like
you're trying to fuse her. This was a callback to
a motion picture.
Yeah,
I think it's the motion picture.
Motion picture pops to mind, but it's like, the transporters have so many safety features on them. Like, I know this isn't like the transporter really doing this. I understand that, but even so, like,
but you could do this to somebody if you just mess with the controls,
right? How could you even possibly come up with that scenario where you're beaming right to where you're already at? Like,
and there's no way you would, if there was no way you would survive it. Like,
that's the idea. You're being beamed into a space that's already occupied.
Which would be. And they try to save her, and so they end up putting her in the transporter buffer so that we don't think she's truly dead. even though she's not real in the first place, but whatever, you know. And then Uhura is now afraid of La'an, and she runs away. Then we got Spock, back to Spock and Pike and Una, who are trying to run away from. Oh yeah, they take Spock straight to T'Pring, right? And then they reveal that they are T'Pring's evil henchmen. And they get Spock back on the table, and now they're being all evil and crazy and everything else. And I guess now we know it's not really them, or that they're gone crazy.
I had to say, Anson Mount giving that creepy ass fucking smile, like, just kind of filled my heart with joy. That was kind of a treat to see.
Yeah,
right, he was there. Look at that.
He was going full Jeepers Creepers.
He really was. I want to see Anson Mount in more villain roles. You know.
Yeah, he's got a very villainous smile, very crazy look here. Anyway, so he's going off. Kirk and Sam trying to get out of the bridge, but then what happens next? Oh, he's hearing the voice again, but then the view screen starts to crack the window of the bridge, and looks like they're going to get sucked down to space. But...
Yeah, they hear clinking glass. They don't hear a voice. They hear clinking glass. They turn to see that the rocks are hitting it, so they start freaking out. And Jim's like, "Come on, Sam, open the door. Help me with the door."
Jim's freaking out, but Sam's kind of like, "No, I love this."
Jim's like, "Come on, Sam, we gotta go." He's freaking out, and he's telling, and Sam's like, I don't
think it was so much like he loved it. I think he was like accepting the fate that all Kirks are like doomed to die like this, like to die in space with Starfleet. Like, we lead a dangerous life. This is how Kirks die.
Yeah, we die alone in a corner of space, and you'll know this too. And just join us, like with the rest of the Griffin.
Yeah,
you know,
in a space glory hole. No, I'm not.
And then he gets sucked out, like through not all at once, because he ends up against like one of the bigger holes in the
I liked this. This was horrifically gory. You keep making the joke, it's a glory hole. I get it. Funny joke, sure, whatever. Overplayed. This was a really horrific scene in general, because normally they just explode the whole window and suck him out to space and he's dead, and that's what you're gonna expect. But they were just like, no, the integrity's gonna hold. Here's a hole.
Let's make it as painful and as drawn out as possible. Again, but at this point, like, I'm like, oh, it's not Sam, it's some hallucination. Okay.
Well, that's the thing. We know we know this is gonna be like, it's either a hallucination, or B, Sam was actually taken over. Like, you're thinking Sam was taken over.
But the second,
I get it. The TOS, he doesn't die.
It's a prequel show.
Yes, I get it. But it doesn't mean they can't change something like that. You know?
Or C, it's a throwback to Alien Resurrection. Or D,
there's a lot of callbacks.
It's not that actually wouldn't happen. Like, physics is actually proven, like, if there's a hole in the hole, you could just put your hand on it.
He would get sucked out, right? He would just bones.
You wouldn't get sucked out. Like, you could put your hand over the hole in a hole breach that small, and you would stop the air from escaping. You wouldn't get sucked through the hole.
What would happen to your hand, though?
A hole
nothing.
That small.
Yeah.
A hole, Jim, that hole breach the size of a bowling ball.
All right. Well, this is not. We won't get to the bottom of this right now, guys. We'll have to do.
We're talking about it right now.
But we're not going to get to the bottom of the physics of a vacuum. Like, you know.
Yes, a hole, if it's like the size of your hand, you can cover. But if it's a bowling ball, it's going to rip your. It already has edges. It's ripping your guts out. The physics of that felt horrific and real, and I was for it. And I was even convinced, like, did Sam die because we got a viewpoint we shouldn't have, logically, because it was all in Kirk's head? And if anything, it should have just closed on Kirk in the elevator. And then I would have been like, all right, cool. That was definitely.
Did the window even break at all in reality?
Probably right? Not. No, it didn't. No, it definitely didn't.
Yeah. Anyway, then Uhura's running away from La'an, and she's scared. She's like, no, it's really me. Uhura, you don't be scared of me. But then this door opens behind Uhura, and it's Harper. And Harper then stabs Uhura. And La'an tries to shoot the Harper ghost with the phaser, but it just goes right through her. And we see Harper pointing the knife at Uhura, like basically like tempting, be like the devil, join the dark side. And then all of a sudden it transitions from Harper holding the knife to it being La'an holding the knife. And she's actually the one who did it. but didn't really do anything because Uhura's not really here. But she's like fully, embracing the haunted object, as Chris has been suggesting, of the knife. If it does, the knife have some kind of connection? We'll see. Because it does actually come over. It ends up getting beamed over with them too, right? So we'll see.
That's what makes me think we might get a callback later in the season. But.
Maybe. Anyway, so she's full madness on now, and she's ready to kill everybody on the ship. This is just when Kirk comes down. He's like, "Oh my God, my brother just got sucked out of a panel. It's crazy and horrific. I'm glad you're okay, La'an." And then she just stabs him right in like the gut, right through the chest. And
that was still at this point in the show, I'm like, wait, is this happening? Did he just get stabbed, or is this like a hallucination? Like Sam Kirk was just ripped apart. This was fucking with me because I was having trouble deciphering. Did that just happen, or did that not just happen, or is this all just a hallucination? What is happening? And I enjoyed that. That's what I enjoyed about this mystery.
So did
episode.
Crazy La'an. She was having a blast. I
gotta give the actress credit. She plays a good crazy person.
Sure
they
does.
all play good crazy people.
So does Anson Mount, as he was mama here. In the sick
the
bay.
pasta mama sound effect.
He's like, "Oh, it's great," and he's like chopping things around the cutting board, and then he starts like chopping off his own fingers, and
When he gave the head chef line, I figured he was gonna pull out another platter with like somebody else's head on it. I swear, I thought that's what the joke was gonna be. But no,
it's Una's head. Ah, look, I made this for
there we
cheese.
go. Perfect. All the ingredients are fresh. Then just starts cutting off his own hand.
But it seems like
pretty brutal.
It seems like T'Pring is able to like almost control Pike, because Spock doesn't know that Pike's not real, right? He thinks that his captain's really cutting off his fingers and bleeding to death. And
I never thought it was T'Pring was controlling Pike. It was just whatever was controlling T'Pring was also controlling Pike, and it's like
T'Pring's not hurting herself the way that the Pike is, right?
No, because T'Pring was meant to be like more of a
psychological
torture to him, being like, "Oh, look what your friends are doing,"
So would that be like a correlation, like Vulcans torture with like emotions and psychology, and humans are more visceral, and thus they torture with like pain and physical violence, like that kind of parallel?
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
So Spock, after Pike chops all his fingers off, Spock is like, "Oh, that's it. I'm going to Vulcan meditation mode. I can't take any more of this." And he starts just reciting like these Vulcan recites, and like T'Pring seems to come over to want to hack him up and sort of bring him back into the illusion, but he's just like, "No, I'm going to focus on my Vulcan meditation chants."
Yeah, because she's clued into the fact that it's like, oh, it's not your Vulcan. It's like he clued in the fact that logic was his way home,
because she just kept trying to push his human side on his human, everything, but it's actually his Vulcan side that's going to save him here, and everyone else.
She literally picks up a knife. She's like, "Nothing here is logical." He's like, "Right, logic." It's like, and at this moment I was like, "Oh, it took you long enough, dummy." Like you're the smartest man on the ship.
We even see the lighting transitions here.
Yeah, that was cool.
And then he's still bleeding. He still has his ears cut off.
I was like, oh shit, he really did that. Oh
yeah. And then we see around the sick bay, we see like this skeleton who has like a scalpel stabbed into his head, and like all the people that were killed on the Griffin, a lot of the were right here in sick bay, right? Like who we couldn't see before.
Because that looks like just straight up decomposition, not like the body's been burnt and that's the ash around the skeleton, right? That's just straight up decomp.
Yeah,
that's decomp, but that wouldn't all of the, because the life support and all that stuff was off when they got on the ship, right? So therefore there was
It was off, but like I don't know if like there was an atmosphere of some kind. I think because when they beam over, like they don't need a pressure suit or anything. Like
Well, I
It
thought
would
they
be
turned it
the-
on and they got the atmosphere going.
I figured it'd be
Eventually,
like the residual,
but not when they first
air.
materialized. Like
Not when they
because
first materialized, there was no atmosphere. So when they first materialized,
there had to be
right,
some kind of atmosphere because they can't beam over with just like that little mask on if there's not some kind of atmosphere, right?
Did-
Like there had
Okay,
it can
yeah,
it
I
can
see
be all
what you're saying.
carbon dioxide. It can be unbreathable, but
like,
it has
keeps
to
the
be
pressure up. But
yeah. But there's no way that like their
Yeah.
their eyeballs would freeze if or decompress in their heads and blow up, or I don't know
No,
if
that's
exactly
fair.
what would
Okay,
happen.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
anyway, so these bodies are all here. Spock wakes up. He looks. We see all the blood around the sick bay from when things happened 9 years earlier, and kind of more of a sense of what's going on here. And we see he has the scissors that were used to cut his ears right in his own.
Rusty old scissors
It-
too.
I didn't notice the rust the first time I saw it, and then on the rewatch, I'm like, oh, those are rusty as hell. That's
Yeah,
some tetanus right there. Getting ready to
yeah.
set in.
I was like, he's gonna need a tetanus
Yeah.
shot for sure.
They got a lot of use, I guess, in the in the Griffin incident, if you will. And anyway, he looks down at them. We then go back to Kirk, who's dragging himself across the deck, bleeding out after he's been stabbed by Lon, and she's like still chasing him down, wanting to. He's like, "This isn't you, Lon. You're better than this." She's like, "Oh, this is me," and now I'm fully embracing Harper Ghost. But just then, transporter beam.
Well, not just that. Hang on. She
You
said
skipped
some
over the
horrific
foreshadowing.
lines. She's like, "You're gonna die at the end of this knife alone in space, like all your other Kirks, and your son is also gonna die at the end of this knife."
Yeah, that was a little too on the nose for me because like Dave Marcus, of course, does die at the hands of one of Commander Krug's guards, Klingon guards,
Yeah.
but like I don't know, that's a little too on the nose.
It was a little direct, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
was it what if it was this alternate dimension alien creature that has the ability to see through time in a sense and is being prophetic?
Whatever. All right, then beam out.
What's wrong with that? Guys, you got no
Um,
whimsy, Jesus.
I would have
Yeah.
bought it as an explanation.
I guess it would be an explanation. I don't know if I would like
Yeah.
it. Anyway, they materialize on the transporter pad of the real USS Enterprise, everyone, and she's still holding the knife over Kirk, and he's like, "Please don't stab me anymore.
It's okay. We're okay.
We're okay." And then she looks around and she's horrified because I guess the psychic influence of whatever was melding her or taking her over has faded. And yeah, so it's now we see like I guess who the boarding party was, except for like Sam Kirk, he's not here.
Okay.
And
This is the moment I'm like, oh, maybe it's not the knife because her psychic connection was immediately broken. When
she's out of it now. She like breaks out of the
Yeah.
trance. She drops the knife and she's horrified of what she's done and everything else because I think Kirk's still bleeding out, but it's okay. We'll patch you right up. It's merely a flesh wound. And
He's like, "Where's my brother?" He's like, "He's on vacation. What do you mean?"
Oh yeah, he's not even here. He's not even on the ship right now.
He's
you
on
see
shore
Spock's-
leave somewhere. He's like, "Oh, thank God." And he passes out. He's like, "I can go to sleep now." It's just like,
Then we get this whole scene here, like walk and talk with Pike and Benga talking about what how are the crew doing? He's like, physically they're fine. Kirk's gonna live and everything, but they are not good psychologically. They are gonna need some therapy after this, all of them, because it was a rough time in that hour aboard the Griffin. And we go back to
You just-
Spock.
you're just gonna skip over the Division 12's conversation that they
No.
have. Shut up, Jim.
The Division 12.
No, like
do you-
literally, they're
What, do you
like,
want,
it's
what,
like,
what
what's-
conversation do we want to have? What is it?
well, the conversation that they had was like, what's happening to the ship? It's like, well, Division 12 is gonna take it back to their substation, and he's like, cool. How many, out of how many missions have you had that you've had to refer to Division 12? And he's like, 6 of them. 4 of them turned out to be aliens or just some type of anomaly. He's like, what about the other 2? He's like, I'll let you know when I know.
And that's
Wh-
the fucking
why do you hate
line.
that? Why do
There's
you hate
no
that?
explanation.
There doesn't need to be.
I think there should. This is the
Why?
equivalent of this is literary blue balls, okay? Like give me something, anything. It's like
It's
the
a
writers,
ghost story.
the writers
Oh,
got to the end of this and just like Fuck it. Who needs a reason?
I don't.
Like,
What? So Division 12 is what, the X Files? Is that what we're supposed
Yeah.
to get from
Yes,
this?
That's
this
what
is
it's
Space
supposed
X
to be.
Files. I don't know how you guys
I'm supposed to get
didn't see that
excited
and
for that.
enjoyed
Is that what's meant to happen here?
How could you not be excited for that concept?
I'm
How does
not.
that concept not make you a little bit wet in the pants?
Because we've seen X-Files already.
I don't even
Yeah,
like
we've
X Files.
seen X. Okay, well then you're a prude. Then I don't know what to tell you.
I'm a
How
prude.
do you
All right,
not like
moving on.
X-Files?
Spock's getting his ears reattached by Chapel, not in his sick bay, but in his quarters. Even though she's his ex-girlfriend and she's got the mini skirt on now and everything else.
She's also got pants on, my guy. It's a
Tights.
part of her uniform.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, and then, she's like, "Are you okay?" And then she talks about like how traumatized she is from the Klingon War, and she can't go to the mess hall because they had to triage during this big battle. And she understands trauma. Basically, is what I took from this conversation. Chris, would you like to add anything?
Well, yeah, she gave a perfect explanation, and she's empathizing with Spock, and she's trying to see if he's okay. She's like, it's clear not why you don't want to go to the medical bay, and you ask for a house call.
Yep.
I think it was good. I mean, I didn't see any like longing looks in this. I just saw her as being empathetic and worried about her friend. I know that they have some type of relationship in TOS or whatever, but like I didn't read it like that.
All right. Well, thanks for your help, friend. And appreciate you checking in on me. Good chat. Anyway, then over to La'an and Pike, who La'an's like, "You didn't put the official record correctly. You should have said I stabbed Kirk in the chest." And he was like, I don't know if I should do that. That seems like a detail I should leave out.
Did you talk to Kirk and Spock? No, come sit down, have a drink with me.
Yeah, don't make me that in order. And he's pouring, I guess, whiskey or bourbon or whatever this is. And he's, I don't know, he's like, you need to forgive yourself a little bit more, La'an, is what I kind of took from this conversation. And it's okay to understand that space is scary and like crazy things happen here, and that
so you got a little stabby. It's not that big of a deal.
I've stabbed all kinds of people on my crew at one time or another. That's kind of a week in Starfleet. What are you gonna do?
I mean, the whole like thing was like, the thing about space is mystifying and magical is equally terrifying. You got to do what you got to do to survive, and as long as you survive, that's all that they need to know.
Yeah. Well said.
How you do that is,
Cheers, which La'an seems to accept. And then there's a scene here with cookies and Kirk and Uhura.
What are the cookies for? No sane man would refuse cookies, so this is a test.
A test to see if you're insane.
I thought that was a callback to a previous scene in like the last season or maybe season 2 or something about the cookies.
I don't remember cookies in season 2.
I can't recall. But Uhura has done a solid here for Kirk and managed to connect him to the starbase where Carol and David are, so that he can call them. With some of her communications magic, and he does try to call Carol and David, but no answer because he's a little bit of a deadbeat dad. Sorry, Kirky. And no answer from Carol. As that part tunes out, and La'an is in her quarters looking out the window watching the Griffin get towed, and as she's watching this, the Griffin get towed to wherever they're going to take it, I guess to be salvaged. We
Division
zoom
12.
in
We're taking it to Division 12.
of course, Division 12, best concept ever. And then there's
it's a great concept.
Murphy's there. He's going to watch it all. There's a window on the saucer of the Griffin that is lit up, and as we kind of look in, oh, that's that Harper ghost zombie lady. Oh, she's there, but shh, don't tell anybody. This will come back later in the season. You
know what? If the ghost had like dematerialized hologram style and it turned out to be Badgie from Lower Decks, I would have been happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's bad. No, I would not have been.
It's not a great ending. I'm not going to deny you that this ending is a bad.
It will be. I can live with this ending depending on what they do with it. if anything.
Yes.
So, to be continued for me.
Yes.
Anyway.
And if it opens the door to a Division 12 series, I'm for it.
He is. Chris is there for Division 12. He wants
Apparently
paranormal
so.
investigations in Starfleet. Could happen. So we don't have Adam Woodward with us tonight. We does someone else want to give us any trivia, if there is any trivia to speak of?
I can try and do a quick search, see if I can find anything.
I know there's a couple
interesting.
facts on Memory Alpha, like at least 2. So if you want to pull those up, let's watch the fun facts. Subbing in for Adam.
Here's an interesting piece of trivia. A local band of cowboys, fresh from their campaign of pirate slaughter, then cut the agave into quarters for cooking.
Well, all right, you're up, Jim. Oh, you muted yourself. There you go.
Checkity check. Okay.
You're good.
All right, I'm at Memory Alpha, looking through any info I can find.
Kirk claims to have been a Boy Scout before joining Starfleet. Star
Right.
Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. David Marcus refers to Kirk as that overgrown Boy Scout he used to hang around with, to which his mother, Carol, replies, "Listen, kiddo, Jim Kirk was many things, but he was never a Boy Scout." The term can also be used colloquially to refer to someone who's always obeys the rules.
Were either of you Boy Scouts?
No. And I don't think we do we have Boy Scouts in Canada? I thought it was like
we have Boy Scouts of Canada. We do, actually. I was a Cub and then a Boy Scout. I was also a Sea Scout for 1 year, which was like a Boy Scout but naval.
Really?
But it wasn't as popular. But when he said be prepared, I was like, that's right. Be prepared, Kirk. That's the motto of the Boy Scouts.
And then La'an in her deranged state La'an in her deranged state accurately predicts the fate of David Marcus to die at the end of a blade bleeding out in a dark corner of space. Dave is stabbed to the death by a Klingon on the Genesis planet in Star Trek III: The Search for Spock.
Yeah. R.I.P. David Marcus.
references.
A great David.
I'm not really seeing
It's
anything that we
it
haven't
only came out today. It's okay. This always comes up.
Yeah.
If we can get 2 facts, that's pretty good.
Rose Harper's bio, Order of Valor, Battle of Capella, Epsilon Delta 5, Exeter of the USS Harper, Angeline Harper. Yeah, I don't know.
See, this is why Adam is the king of the fun and sexy facts. He's already got them prepped up, ready to go. Probably has them in bullet point form before we even think about watching these shows.
He's got a beautiful mind.
He is the master of it. Yes.
Ross Hall was the leader of the Are You Afraid of the Dark series of the Midnight Society.
Is that the actor or the character?
That's the actor. The character's name is Gary, but he's Ross Hall. He's the one that does the Weather Network.
And he is the weatherman on CTV Toronto now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jacob Tierney, he played Eric on the show. Jacob Tierney went on to play the priest in Letterkenny, and he also is the director of a very popular show, Heated Rivalry, and he's coming up with a new show called Baba Yaga, just called Yaga, which is coming out soon, which looks pretty cool.
There you go. Some great Canadian connections to a show that has nothing to do directly with this episode, but
is spooky. It's got spooky vibes,
and it was shot in Canada, just like this episode. So I guess that's your connection.
This episode would have been great if it came out in October.
Yeah, because last year they did the real zombie episode, remember? And it was like, I think it was episode 2 as well. Like, so I don't know if that's a coincidence or not. What was it? No, it was Shuttle to Kinfori. It was episode 3 last season. Forgive me.
I think somebody in the chat mentioned the episode Operation Annihilate. Sam Kirk's son is sitting in Captain Kirk's command chair.
Well, that's the episode where Sam Kirk dies. Yes.
Okay. So. Well, because I pulled it up. What was the kid's name? Peter Kirk.
I think that's right.
Okay.
I forgot he had 2. He says he has 2 sons in this episode, though. Like I thought he had 1.
Yeah, 2 brothers apparently.
Who's got 2 brothers?
Peter.
Oh, so Sam Kirk has 3 kids.
Yeah, Peter Kirk has his own page on Memory Alpha here.
Okay.
And the shot, yeah, here we go. Nephews are only mentioned in dialogue in Operation Annihilate. That Peter is the only surviving member of George's family, although this may be only limited to those members on Geneva at the
we're
time.
actually on Geneva 5, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The 2 nephews were the sons of George Samuel Kirk, brothers to Peter Kirk. They, along with George Peter and Orellin Kirk, saw James off on his 5-year mission in the TOS episode "What Are Little Girls Made Of?"
Classic.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, credit where credit's due. They have tried to keep as much, in line with the original established like family members of the families, and they're giving decent
We haven't actually met Sam Kirk's wife yet in this show, right?
Not that I'm aware of it. In fact, I think it's mentioned that he's been married, but we haven't seen anybody on camera of his family yet. I don't think so.
Yeah, because his wife plays a fairly big role in that episode, Operation Annihilate. So,
okay, so the novel in James Kirk's bag is The British Naval Adventure Master and Commander by Patrick O'Brien. This was the first book in a series inspired by C.S. Forster's Hornblower novels. According to David Gerald, author of the episode The Trouble with Tribbles, in his book The World of Star Trek on the making of the original series, the pitch for Star Trek was that it was Hornblower in space. And then
that's the one Russell Crowe, he did an adaptation of Master and
Yeah.
Commander, didn't he?
Yeah. And then the other thing is this episode features many nods to Event Horizon, in which a rescue mission to a long-lost spaceship ends in horror, with the protagonist haunted by visions of their colleagues, children, and former partners. The film's tagline was "Infinite Space, Infinite Terror." Near the end of this episode, Captain Pike refers to limitless space and limitless terror. And footage from Event Horizon was also used in Star Trek Voyager episode Random Thoughts in 1997. So, all right.
I lost you there for a second.
Yeah, I don't know.
I tried to bring up the scores.
Yeah. Now I have to share my screen again. All right, let's rate this episode. I don't know. This might be contentious, guys. I don't know.
I'll let Worldmind go first if you don't mind. I think he wants to get it out.
Well, we already have it. Just to note, we already have a score here from Ashley Millard,
Right.
who has given this a 9.5. So that is the bar we are starting at right now, just so we're clear. So, yeah, Chris, if you want to go first, please do.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely give this episode a 9. I'm docking it points for the way La'an handled her interaction in the engine room, and just the fact that it took Spock a little too long to figure out that he needed logic to get out of this. But other than that, I had fun with this episode. It was a horrific little journey. It was gory, probably one of the goriest episodes of Star Trek that has ever appeared. It was fun. It was a good episode. It just had a bad ending. And yeah, it loses points for that there. But ultimately it was whimsical.
The Trek reviewer saying, I think it should be canon that La'an stabbed Kirk because he turned her down for a date. I agree. And when has Kirk ever turned anyone down for a date? Come on. So,
I'm pretty sure I heard once that Kirk being a ladies' man was like a real over exaggeration from the original series, because I think it was like really revealed like he only got intimate like 3 times in that entire run. I think I heard that once.
like he's a flirt for sure. Whether he's a philanderer, I think is sometimes mischaracterized. But yes.
Yeah. It's funny to joke about. Don't get me wrong.
Jim, what would you like to give this episode?
Considering everything I brought up before about how I didn't feel any tension, this to me was almost like a blatant ripoff of Event Horizon, and the other outside fact that they've literally wasted 10% of this season for this nothing of an episode.
You call it a ripoff. I call
Who
it a
needs Adam here
homage.
tonight when we got you, Jim? Because he's all every time there's an episode in these 10 episode seasons that he's not as impressed with, he goes, "I can't believe we wasted one of our 10 on this."
Fuck it, I'll take that. Yeah, I think this is the waste. I'm gonna give it a 5.
All right. Okay, and for me, like I'm honestly somewhere in the middle of you two. I thought it was like I didn't hate it, but like would I watch this again? Probably not. Like, but was it a serviceable episode? Yes. I think it does probably the most for La'an directly, like her character. So I go like, I don't know, like 7. Am I over a 7 flat? Maybe a 7.5 tops. So EJR agrees with me. 7.5. I like this episode, but it started suffering from being a prequel because the characters were never in real danger, including La'an, because they're not going to. We are exactly on the same page here.
Yeah.
EJR. Yeah, exactly. Great minds think alike. So,
I knew
anyway,
nobody was in danger. I was more enthralled by the mystery of what was happening, and it didn't entirely pay off. But it opened up doors for potentials that I'm intrigued by.
that's okay. We're all allowed to like and not like it. So
yeah, if it worked for you, then it worked for you. Cool.
Yeah. Okay, so we're averaging a 7.8, along with including Ashley's 9.5. As of this moment, the rating on IMDb is 7.3. That's just with 1 day of voting, only 290 votes so far. So
how many votes does it usually average on IMDb for these episodes? Like Strange New Worlds.
You mean on the day of or eventually?
Eventually, like high end.
I could probably tell you there. If I go back to like episode, like if you go back to season 1,
yeah,
it has about 7,000 to 8,000 votes per episode.
Okay. So this is probably going to be subject to change pretty quickly.
It will be. It's just to give us a guidepost for whoever's went out of their way to give a score to this particular episode today, and compare how it compares to our scores, which I think are somewhat comparable. We're a little higher than IMDb at the moment, but that could change. So and we still have to get people like Adam and a few others to weigh in. If you have a rating for this episode, make sure to leave it in the comments and tell us what you thought. We're always looking for more input and more diversity of opinions.
Sorry, I almost forgot.
Infinite combinations.
That's right.
I need to give a quick shout out to some friends of mine here in Lebanon. They recently got in contact with me to help through some tough times, and they said that they were going to start watching the show because I told them I was in it, and I sent them a couple of clips, and they were really starting to dig it. So shout out to V and A for joining in, and thanks for all the support, and hope to see you guys here at some point here in the future.
Absolutely. We always love new guests. Make sure to like and subscribe. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers.
Woo!
We're trying to get there. Please help us out.
50 more.
Only 50 to go. Okay, so we will close this down for the ratings. Looking ahead, next week, Human Best Friend is the title of episode 3. It says, shore leave on a pleasure planet turns dangerous when the crew's promised escape stops behaving like fun. It sounds like the episode Shore Leave from the original series. So we'll get some version of that. Maybe for better or worse. I hope it's original. But the preview image is a big picture of Kirk and Spock hugging awkwardly. So we'll see.
I think those two are gonna mind meld or something.
Oh, well, they better.
They already have.
Yeah, they're gonna meld somewhere. All right. Also, make sure to check out our Monday night podcast where we're talking right now about Firefly. We've been going through all the different episodes. We'll be on this Monday to talk about the 9th episode. It's called Ariel, which is, it's an interesting show. If you want to hear us love, and also hate the show all at the same time, then check out the Monday night panel.
It's a baffling quagmire of responses to the show.
It's always like, Jeff's like, what is this show? I don't understand what they're trying to do with the show.
Chris, look at the bright side. At least you and I will agree on Ariel.
Yeah, I mean,
So, at
anything
least there's
Firefly we're
that.
probably going to agree on, you know?
Yeah, we're going to be the only two, unless we can finally switch Adam over to the dark side.
Give
Well,
it
we'll
time.
see.
Give it time. He'll
You
find
can work
it.
on Adam.
Give it
It's
time.
possible. Also, we just did a trivial debates not long ago. It was the 99th episode. It was a Babylon 5 themed episode. It had myself. It had Jim. It had Jeff. It had that other guy who was really good. So check that out.
Benton Monaghan from Phantasm.
Yeah, I know. Every time
YouTube
I keep
channel.
forgetting his name. I always know it for like the day, and then I forget.
He
Remember
was dodging
Phantasm.
missile fire to do the show with us.
He did very well.
Yeah,
in the episode. You think
yeah.
he would have made more of an impression.
I completely forgot that he lives like in
Yeah.
like just in the Middle East. Like, yeah, I just live where missiles go over my head. It's like,
I have to say I couldn't have had more fun losing to those two professionals, because that was entertaining as hell.
Spoilers and but anyway, watch out
spoilers,
for
yeah.
the 100th episode of Trivial Debates, not Babylon 5. The 100th episode of Trivial Debates coming up soon. We're working on it Sunday soon. I'm working on it.
because I want to get it because I've got like a week of vacation left. If we can do it sooner, then I got to go back to work.
All
I
right,
would
let me
love
talk to
do that,
Jerry.
but-
We can probably do it next weekend. Anyway, so
one quick shout out for me. I'm gonna play the Mound Omen of Cthulhu on Twitch. If you want to come watch it, twitch.tv/theworldmind. I'll be playing with Hey, did you see this one, Stephen Waters. If you want to see some fancy, fun little shenanigans and watch us get eaten by the ground, I'll be over on the Mound.
What open the mound?
The Mound Omen
Mound.
of Cthulhu. It's like this fun. Explore an island, and there's weird shit that happens. So if
Oh,
it's a quite psychic, crazy brain things and ghosts and things try to kill you, just like this episode tried to kill us.
always trying to kill you. But we have plot armor here, just like the canonical characters, so we'll be fine. All right. Well, make sure to check out our newest edition of Aiming on Track. He was just on with Chris Murphy talking about the Proto-Men, Act 3 of The City Made Us. And yeah, always check out the Hey, did you see this ones? But I think they're off this week. So all right. We'll see you next time here on Live Long and Podcast. Take care and see you next time. Good night.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And take a peek into the darkness with Heard Noise, Must Investigate with Michael Chan. Watch us duke it out on Trivial Debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.